was the last Balrog left in Middle-earth. For thousands of years, it stayed hidden in the Misty Mountains. It did not wake up until Gandalf led the Fellowship into the depths of Moria. That was when this Balrog, buried deep beneath the earth, was finally disturbed. Before they entered this place, Gandalf had warned everyone again and again. Something older and darker than orcs was hiding here. Then Pippin got curious for 1 second and knocked over a dwarf skeleton and the chains by the well. That massive echo ripped through the entire mine in an instant. The huge army of orcs sleeping in the depths was alerted right away. The enemy came flooding in from every side like a wave. The Fellowship was surrounded in the blink of an eye. There was almost no way out. Right when everyone was 1 step from death, a horrifying roar suddenly exploded from the deepest part of the mine. The orc army that had been savaged just seconds ago freaked out and ran for their lives on the spot.
Foes beyond any of
Gandalf could only drag everyone toward the only exit as fast as he could. The Balrog was already closing in on the bridge. The orcs behind them kept firing arrows non-stop. At this point, the Fellowship had been pushed all the way to the edge. Legolas instantly drew his bow and fired, covering the others as they rushed toward the escape point. Then, the Balrog got closer and closer and was almost right in front of them. Gandalf could only tell everyone to cross first. He stayed behind alone to hold the line. After everyone made it across the stone bridge, Gandalf stepped up and faced the approaching Balrog head-on. He chanted a spell and raised his staff high into the air. The Balrog swung its giant flaming sword and came crashing in with devastating force. Gandalf fought with everything he had to block that strike.
Back to the shadow!
That moment sent the Balrog into a total rage. It instantly switched to its whip and came at Gandalf again, with fire blazing around it. In the next second, Gandalf let out a furious roar. The stone bridge beneath them shattered in an instant. The Balrog lost its footing and dropped straight into the bottomless abyss. Gandalf had barely turned around when the falling Balrog suddenly cracked its flaming whip. It wrapped around Gandalf's ankle and dragged him down with it. As they plunged at insane speed, Gandalf steadied himself and pulled out the sword he carried at his side. Then, he kept fighting it in midair. In the end, they both slammed into the deepest part of the underground world. The fight still was not over. Gandalf and the Balrog battled all the way from the deepest core of the earth to the peak of the mountain. That final showdown lasted 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, Gandalf drove his sword through the Balrog and finished off the monster for good. Then, he hurled its body off the mountaintop. Gandalf himself collapsed on the peak after burning through the last of his strength. At the exact moment his life slipped away, his consciousness left his body. His spirit passed through endless darkness and the stars above. When he finally woke again, he had completed his transformation from Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White.